top with pretty Lavinia and unwed Henry, who brings about Hurricane Katrina and the price of progress. We will that Appalachian crab by the river's edge. There's a storm coming, but it ain't that Carolina drama. That's Alabama bound. It's murder ballads that's coming to town.
I'm here with Country Diggers. Today I'm going to do the story of the Bloody Benders. And the song is by Macabre, the Bloody Benders. I will be just reading the song because I don't know the tune or anything. Not that I can do the tune, but anyway. I'll be reading from the Bloody Century, True Tales of Murder in 19th Century America by Robert Wilhelm. He also does the murderbygaslight.com website. All right, stay tuned. Okay, this is the song by Macabre, the Bloody Benders. I'm just going to read it. The Benders were a family who arrived in Labette County, Kansas around 1870. The Bender family built a one-room log shanty. The size of it was 16 by 20. The shanty was used for an inn divided by a canvas curtain, so there might be some privacy. The Benders lived on one end. The other side was for the inn where they allowed travelers hospitality. The family named the Benders were life enders. They were death benders, the Bender families. In the family was Old Man Bender, Ma, and their two children, John Jr. and his sister Kate. When travelers passing by their land, not knowing of the Benders' plan, fell for the Bloody Benders' bait, the travelers were ushered in, seated with their backs to the curtain, talking to Kate Bender, waiting to be fed. On the other side of the curtain, father or brother was lurking to smash a sledgehammer on their head. Dr. York was traveling, then ended up missing. With his brother's posse, his route was retraced. The Benders endured questioning and denied ever seeing him, so they left the Bloody Benders' place. The posse came back again when they heard the Benders ran, found the victims buried on their land, and so the posse searched for them, and no one knows for sure what happened. But the Benders weren't seen again. All right, now on to the story. The Bloody Benders. In early 1870s, the counties of Labette and Montgomery in Kansas were experiencing an alarming number of missing persons. Investigators passed several times through the cabin of the Benders, a family of German immigrants who ran a small grocery store and restaurant outside of Cherryvale, Kansas. But the Benders appeared completely innocent. When authorities found the cabin abandoned one day, the picture changed. The closer look revealed 10 murdered corpses, the handiwork of the Bloody Benders. Dates, 1870 through 1873. Location, Cherryvale, Kansas. Victims, Dr. William York and 9 others. Cause of death, blows from a hammer, suffocation. Accused, the Bender family. Around 1870, the Bender family built a small cabin outside of Cherryvale, Kansas, about 50 miles north of the Oklahoma border. William Bender and his wife, sometimes referred to as Ma Bender, were in their 60s. Thomas and Joanna, better known as Kate, were in their 20s. They were German immigrants, all spoke with accents, and the elder Benders spoke little English. It is unclear exactly how these four were related. Most accounts say that Thomas and Kate were the son and daughter of William Bender and his wife. But Thomas was also known as John Gerhardt and is sometimes referred to as Kate's husband. Other accounts say that none of them were actually named Bender, and that only the mother and daughter were related. The men were described as large, coarse-appearing men. The descriptions of Kate range from a large, masculine, red-faced woman to good-looking, well-formed, rather bold in appearance. The number of sources agree that she had a ruddy complexion and may have been a redhead. The Benders kept a grocery store in front of the cabin, selling staples such as tobacco, crackers, sardines, candles, powder, and shot. They also provided meals for travelers. Though they kept to themselves, the Benders attended church and town meetings and seemed to be an ordinary rural family. The only exception was Kate, who professed to being clairvoyant, giving public lectures on spiritualism and advertising in local newspapers of her ability to heal disease, cure blindness, fits, and deafness. In 1873, the citizens of Labette County became concerned over the inordinate number of missing people in their community. Neighboring counties were experiencing losses as well. In March 1873, Dr. William York from Onion Creek, Montgomery County, came in search of a man named Locher and his infant daughter, who had traveled in the region the previous winter and were never heard from again. Dr. York never made it home either. Dr. York was from a very prominent family, and in April his brother, Colonel A.M. York, came to Labette County leading a party of 50 citizens of Montgomery County. They searched unsuccessfully for the missing doctor, stopping several times at the Bender's cabin. On one occasion, they asked Kate to use her clairvoyant powers to help with the search, but she had no information for them. The next time someone stopped at the Bender's cabin, they found it deserted. Their wagon was missing, and a calf they were raising had died of neglect. The authorities of Cherryvale were notified and went back to check on the house. Everything seemed to be in order. Nothing was missing but clothes and bedding. But a thorough search of the house began to reveal the Bender's horrible secret. Near the table where guests were served was a trap door, and the foul-smelling hole beneath the door was clotted with blood. The ground in an orchard near the house had been carefully plowed, but one small section was noticeably indented. The ground was dug up, revealing the decomposed body of Dr. York. His skull had been crushed and his throat had been cut. Before nightfall, 7 more bodies were extracted, and another was found the next day. Most were badly decomposed, but some could be identified by clothing and jewelry. They were W.F. McGrady of Cedarville, D. Brown of Cedarville, Henry F. McKenzie of Hamilton County, Indiana, Mr. Locher and his baby daughter from Independence, 2 unidentified men, 1 child believed to be an 8-year-old girl. Another body was previously found in Drum Creek, was also attributed to the Benders. All but the baby had fractured skulls and slit throats. It was believed that the baby was suffocated when buried alive with her father. The 8-year-old girl's body had been badly mutilated. The travelers were murdered for their money. The amounts stolen by the Benders ranged from 40 cents to $2,600, along with horses and wagons. From the condition of the bodies and the arrangement of the house, the authorities were able to summarize how the killings were done. The table where customers took meals was in a small booth formed by cloth partitions on both sides. The partitions were close enough to the back of the chairs that when sitting upright, the heads of the diners would indent the cloth. The male benders would wait behind the cloth partitions, and when the opportunity presented itself, would smash their victims' skulls with stonebreakers' hammers. The bodies were thrown through the trapdoor into what one book called the slaughter pen, where the throats were cut to guarantee death. After dark, the bodies were removed and buried in the orchard. This speculation was verified to an extent by a Mr. Wetzel of Independence, Kansas, who had read Kate's advertisement and traveled to the Benders with his friends, Mr. Gordon, seeking a cure for neuralgia. Kate examined Wetzel and expressed confidence in her ability to effect a permanent cure, but invited them to dine first. For some reason, the two men rose from the table and decided to eat their dinners at the counter instead. This caused a change in Kate's behavior. She became caustic and abusive towards them. They saw the two Bender men emerge from behind the partition. Wetzel and Gordon became suspicious then and decided to leave, a decision that probably saved their lives. When the news of the murders spread through Labette County, it whipped the citizens into a frenzy. They demanded vengeance, and formed a vigilance committees to hunt down the Benders. The vigilantes went first to the home of a man named Brockman, another German immigrant who had briefly been a partner of Mr. Bender's. They put a rope around his neck and threatened to hang him if he would not confess. When Brockman swore he knew nothing, they hanged him from a tree. But when he was at the point of death, they lowered him down and questioned him again. When he still had nothing to tell them, they hung him again. This torture was repeated 3 times before the posse left him semi-conscious laying on the ground. Aftermath. The search for the Benders continued, but though the governor of Kansas offered a $2,000 reward for their capture, the Benders were never brought to justice. One investigation determined that they took a train from Thayer to Chanute, where John and Kate got off, and took the MK&T train south to Red River in Indian Territory. Here they met up with the elder Benders and traveled through Texas and New Mexico. Other residents of Labette County told a different story. While researching the Bender's story for his 1910 book, Celebrated Criminal Cases of America, San Francisco Captain of Police Thomas S. Duke contacted police chiefs of Cherryvale and Independence, Kansas. This is how they responded. Cherryvale, Kansas, June 14th, 1910. Dear Sir, yours just arrived. It so happened that my father-in-law's farm joins the Bender farm, and he helped locate the bodies of the victims. I often tried to find out from him what became of the Benders, but he only gave me a knowing look and said he guessed they would not bother anyone else. There was a vigilance committee organized to locate the Benders, and shortly afterward, Old Man Bender's wagon was found by the roadside riddled with bullets. You will have to guess the rest. I am respectfully yours, J.N. Kramer, Chief of Police, Independence, Kansas. June 14th, 1910. Dear Sir, in regard to the Bender family, I will say that I have lived here 40 years, and it is my opinion that they never got away. A vigilance committee was formed, and some of them are still here, but will not talk except to say that it would be useless to look for them. And they smile at the reports of some of the family having been located. The family nearly got my father. He intended to stay there one night, but he became suspicious. And although they tried to coax him to stay, he hitched up his team and left. Regretting that I cannot give you more information, I am yours respectively, D.M. Van Cleve, Chief of Police. Though some have speculated that the Benders were killed by vigilantes, most believe that their escape was successful. Several times, suspected members of the Bender family were arrested in parts of the country and brought back to Kansas to be tried. Most notably, in 1890, 2 women were arrested in Michigan and alleged to be Ma Bender and Kate. Their attorney had affidavits proving they were Mrs. Elmira Griffin and Mrs. Sarah E. Davis, and were in Michigan between 1870 and 1874. After a habeas corpus hearing, they were released from Labette County Jail. The true fate of the Bender family remains a mystery. I believe the vigilantes got them. That's what I believe. But tell me what y'all believe. And I'll see you back soon. Bye.